Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today we're going to be taking a look at my Senecio bonsai and also three little Mames that I started from cuttings from the same original bonsai plant. It's a succulent, long green tubes, and the more you prune it, the shorter and the wider they come in. So it's actually starting to look more like a jade plant, but I know that it's not. So I also figured out my dilemma on what I was going to be fertilizing my 500 spruce tree farm with. So, surprise, surprise is coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, y'all. So here we have my Senecio bonsai. And I could be pronouncing that wrong, but if you want to look it up, Senecio. There seems to be a few different types of species with these. So this one, it's like a lighter bluish hue to it on the tubes. And when they come and they start growing in, they actually have a little bit of a reddish hue and a lighter green. So it's pretty cool. You see around here, these are three of the Mame that I started. So one just naturally has turned into what's going to be, I guess, a semi-cascading one. And then these two have a nice little wiggle to their trunk, which is probably why I use them. I don't think I'll be pruning much off today. What I'm going to do is a technique that I've seen where you just take the individual leaf and twist it off. So the reason why we're working on this today, well, A, it's grown in nicely, and I kind of want to see how the trunk has developed. But B, it was by the windows, and even though they get great sun and warmth during the day, at night, the wind chill, being by the window here in the winter in Northwest Connecticut, they just have, some of them have gotten like a wind chill on them, or you could tell the leaves got a little wrinkly. So it's unsightly, and obviously they're not going to survive. So we'll twist those off, take a look at how our trunk's developed, where the planting is at, and then, go from there. And then we'll get to, I'll show you what my secret weapon's going to be for fertilizing my tree farm. Totally psyched. I could get it done before spring and for a $0 investment. You'll have to stay tuned for that. So I'm just going to work my way around, just twist these off. Now, you can lay these on top of some soil, and while they dry out, harden off, they'll eventually start to grow these nice little fibrous roots here, and they'll attach themselves to the soil, and then like a new plant will start from those roots. This will then eventually just kind of wither off. So you don't want to like plant it upright, because you won't get the desired effect. It'll just die. So you just want to lay it right on top of the soil. So going around, taking off the older growth, which are the ones that are just too big for a little bonsai. You want it to look miniaturized, and that just isn't cool. So I'm working in a circular pattern, going along the bottom and working my way up. I planted this in some really nice soil from Bonsai Supply. I think it was just their standard bonsai mix. Now, it was great. It's very aesthetically pleasing, and there's a good variety of organic matter and lava rock, and I believe some pumice, and which is also lava rock, and some clay. But it's a small bag, and it's pricey. So if you have like tons and tons of trees, or you're working up to spring to do a lot of repotting, might not be that cost effective. But if you have one or two special trees or plants, it really keeps it simple. They know what they're doing, and it's a great mix. You can find it on Amazon, I believe. I want to say it's like $15 for 2 quarts. So this one off to the side is a cutting that is rooted. I think what I'm going to do is remove everything but that little top one, because they all seem to be wrinkly, except for that one. That one's new growth. And then when it starts to bud back, I'll probably then give it a little pruning just to bring it down a little bit. But for right now, no sense in chopping it down, it could thicken up, and then we could bring it down at another time. I thought it would be nice to have, you know, a few different ones in here. So we're getting a nice branch down here coming out the bottom. And that might turn into a sacrificial one in the future where I just take it out, but for now it would be great for thickening the bottom of that trunk. Alright. Yeah, along the base it's really had a lot of powerful muscular growth growing on here. I love how this thing kicks off aerial roots. Well, I'm calling them aerial roots. They've got a long way to go before they could get down into the soil, but I kind of like that feature that they're a little hairy, like me. All right. So it looks like a few branches are trying to develop coming off the trunk. I don't know that I want that many, so I'm just kind of trying to get it uncrowded here so we could have more of a look at what we got. Okay, so I'm seeing. So right from the base, almost from the actual roots, I guess I would consider these volunteers. They're not coming from the trunk, they're coming from below. There's two of them developing, so I'm just going to nip them out. I want more branching, but I don't want this to be a multi-trunk. I want that singular trunk coming up. So I think this is the second or third time I've worked on this little succulent. It was one of the first things that I got just at a nursery, you know, before I decided, you know, I'm going to grow a lot of bonsai from seed and things like that. I just picked up a few plants that I thought were cool looking. So I'd say it's about 3 years old with me. So again, okay, so we've got, yeah, both of these are coming up out of the root system. So, I don't know, it kind of looks pretty cool, like in a wild way, but I think I'm going to take them out. I just don't want them coming out from that low. Just a little bit of deadwood here from a previous pruning. I left room for dieback, so I'll just take that out. Just cleaning that area up, exposing the trunk. I would love to get a whole bunch of little aerial roots coming down and digging down into the soil. Almost like you see on ficus, so like a succulent version of that. It's definitely a feature I like on this one that you don't get with the jade. Oh boy. This thing's just kind of like sitting in the soil. I would not have to repot this, we'll just say that. Definitely wiggly. And then same with that one too. I noticed that with these Mame. I have them braced with rocks now, but aside from this one, which is pretty well attached in there, these two being a little bit more vertical, one has wiggled out of the pot even recently just by me knocking it over during watering. Right, it's looking good. Okay, all old growth there removed. Any of these growing into the other branches, I'm going to remove them, or if they're wrinkly, just continuing on with that system. Now that I have a little more room, I can move quickly. yes, this is definitely something on the next time I come through and there's a whole bunch of growth. That's when I'll prune it down and probably get some more cuttings from it. But for now, I'm not going to prune the top here. I guess this is more of like a defoliation. Just leaving a few at the top of each so we don't take all of the energy out of the top of the tree here. A couple of stones I'm just keeping around it, so that even though it's pretty top heavy right now and doesn't have the deepest root system, so I don't want to risk, you know, slipping up with the watering can, hitting it with a really hard shot of water and it pop right out of the pot. But give you a little spin on that guy. I think it has a nice flow. Not too much taper, but enough to where, you know, it goes from thicker down below up into these branches. Where I'll prune it next time is probably where they're starting to bulge a little bit. Bring it way back down into those three main trunks and then let it kind of split off from there. Very promising. So there she is, our little lion head bunny Scarlet. And she's going to be the provider for all of the fertilizer in the off season here for the tree farm. So we read online that bunny poop is unique because it is a really slow release nitrogen, so you don't have to worry about it burning up your trees or anything like that, and it doesn't attract that many animals because it's pretty much odorless. So about once a week she fills up her litter box. She's litter box trained in her cage. So my plan is to do at least one of the 10 rows every week until spring. Hopefully it'll cover a little bit more, but let's check it out. All right, y'all. So I forgot to delete the footage from my last video, so I ran out of storage while I was pruning these up. But as you see, I just nipped the tips to bring down that center of gravity so that they don't tip out of the pot while they establish a little root system in there. And I removed the older leaves and the wrinkly leaves. So this guy, I think, is my favorite. It's thickening up nicely. It's taken into the pot. And then right here, I like that as a second trunk. I think it would be cool to have a little bit out to the side, a little bit going up. Maybe have this one come up and split in two and just have that one reaching out of the pot. I like that. But you can see, I mean, that's my fingernail to scale. These are tiny, tiny pots. Fun and challenging to work with. A little high maintenance. So why don't we get to what my secret weapon is going to be out in the tree farm. There's a 500 Picea glauca out there. 10 rows of 50 each. So stand by for the secret weapon. All right, y'all. So here we are down in the tree farm. So you see my nice little rows of 50. 500 in total. So I'm hoping to get at least one row done with these little nuggets of fertilizer gold. So it's really going to be a simple process each time because we use recycled paper litter. So that's biodegradable in itself. So I don't have to separate anything. I'm just going to put a little scoop around each tree. I'm not going to make you watch me do all these, but I'll come back and let you know how much 1 week of my little Grand Bunny's fertilizer is going to go on the tree farm. So I'm hoping at least one row a week, and that should hook us up by springtime. Stand by. All right, y'all. So that was really fast, and I got about 75 trees done. So that means in 6 to 7 more applications, 6 to 7 weeks, I will have completely fertilized the tree farm going into spring, which leaves me time to get to the fruit and veggie gardens, the raised tree bed, and I'll probably do it and some of the plants and trees that I'll be repotting this spring. So I'm really excited to come across this little factoid that cost me $0, and it's something that's continuous. So for my family, yours, hope you have a great day, great start to your week. It is frigid but beautiful and sunny today, so I'm hoping to get out on a trail and get some nice fresh air and look at some beautiful tree structures. If you haven't liked and subscribed at Jarhead Bonsai, please do so. There's plenty to come here at the ranch. Always something new. And I'm going to hit my 2-year mark on YouTube in the middle of February, my 3-year mark in bonsai. So by no means am I an expert, but maybe we can learn together. So take care, y'all. Cheers. Say bye, Boom Boom.